You were running breathlessly down the corridor of your high school. Your school bag was bouncing against your back. Your best friend Horang was trying to keep up with you, called out between gasps. Hey bestie, why are we running like this? We are not being chased, or we are. You sighed and quickened your pace. Don't talk, just run. We have to reach the canteen before it gets crowded. But we always reach late. What is the hurry today? You slowed down for a second, brushing off a strand of hair that had fallen across your face. Aish, you ask a lot of questions. Listen, it is because of my Oppa. Chayunwu Oppa had football practice match. He didn't eat breakfast, and knowing him, he probably still has not eaten anything, so we need to buy food for him. Horang's step faltered as her cheeks turned a soft pink. She bit her lower lip. What? Chayunwu? She tucked a strand of her hair behind her ear, blushing heavily. Yeah, he's still practicing. Don't pretend like you didn't already know that, Horang. You said in a trembling voice while glancing at her. Hey, Shwine, stop it. You giggled and said, Hey, hurry up. She nodded and quickly matched your pace. As you both reached the canteen, your jaw dropped. The canteen scene in front of you was chaotic. Students were everywhere like ants, some yelling, some pushing, some trying to grab sandwiches. You were late again because it was already crowded, completely packed with the students. You sat glaring at the crowd. Great, just great. My brother is starving and the whole school decided to have breakfast today. Bravo. Oh, this is insane, Vayanya. Should we just give up? You shook your head looking at her. No way. Opa needs his food. I can't let him faint before the match. Let's go. But you didn't let her finish, and holding her hand, you started dragging her towards the food counter. Somehow, you both pushed yourself into the long line. Students were packed so tightly that you could barely move. Suddenly, someone pulled your hair from behind. You turned to see a tall girl glaring at you. Hey, that was my place. You narrowed your eyes, crossing her arms over your chest. Wanna fight? She looked at you, frowned. Hey, bestie, let it be. Let's not create a scene here, okay? You sat and sat still, glaring at the girl. I'm letting it go just because my friend said, or else. The girl scoffed, glaring at you back as she bent down a little to your level. Or else what? Hurang gulped and then quickly said, Hey, hey, calm down. I say sorry on my best friend's behalf. The girl looked at Horang. Hey, why you said sorry? Before you could say further, Horang held your hand and said, Aren't we getting late now? Come, let's order the food. You said but then nodded as you saw your turn had arrived to buy the food. Achuma, can I please have one sausage sandwich, one banana milk, and one chocolate pastry? The woman on the counter smiled at you. Of course, dear. She said and quickly prepared your order. As everything was done, you handed her the money and grabbing the tray carefully in your hands, you turned around balancing everything while Horang carried the milk bottle. As you both left the canteen, Horang said, Ah, finally we made it out alive. Yeah, now let's hurry to the ground before he eats the grass out of hunger. She nodded while giggling, and you both headed to the ground. Reaching there, you saw Chainwu. He was practicing penalty kicks with his team. You called out from the sidelines, waving the paper bag in your hand. Opa, Yunwu, Opa. He turned soon as you called him. His serious face softened into a smile as he jogged towards you, wiping his sweat with a towel. Horang blushed looking at him. His teammates looked at you and began whispering to each other. Hey, little one, what are you doing here? You smiled brightly at him and said, I brought food for you sandwiches, banana milk, and your favorite chocolate pastry. He smiled and looked at Horang. She quickly lowered her head shyly with her cheeks. Opa, wait, I give you the food. She said and looked at the table where you had placed the food, but your eyes widened, seeing no food on the table. You blinked and then looked up with curious eyes only to see Jungkook. He was holding the food tray and eating sandwich while making enjoyable faces. He was Yunu's teammate, the school's star player, and your arch enemy. You groaned, clenching your hands into fists. Yay! What are you doing? Jungkook looked at you while chewing dramatically. But that was not for you. It was for my Opa. Oh, really? Then maybe you should have bought two. Your jaw dropped, your cheeks turned red due to anger. You leaned forward to punch him, but before you could, Yunwoo caught your wrist gently. Anya, it is fine. Don't get mad. Jungkook played really well today. Let him eat, hmm? You pouted looking at your brother. Opa, you don't need to take his side always. Jungkook chuckled. Why not? He's my best friend. You glared at him, pointing your finger at Yunwoo. And he's my brother. Horang looked between both of you with her cute wide eyes. My little angel, don't be angry. Now go back to your class. I will lead once I finish the practice match, okay? But Yunwoo placed his finger on your lips and said, Shh. He looked at Horang. Horang, please take her to the classroom. She nodded with a smile and grabbing your hand, she softly started dragging you outside the field. As you disappeared around the crowd, Jungkook watched you go, a playful smile tucked at the corner of his lips. You are cute when you are mad. The last spell of the day echoed through the long corridors of Seoul High School. Students rushed out of classrooms. You were walking slowly through the corridor while clutching your school bag in front of you. Your eyes wandered around as you murmured to yourself, Where did Opa go? He said he would wait after practice. You peeked into the courtyard, but there was no one. The library was closed too. Finally, you sighed and turned towards the boys' locker room at the end of the hall. Maybe he forgot his stuff. I will just check for a second. You hesitantly pushed the door open as you were not sure if he was actually there or not. Looking around with a small pout, you stepped inside slowly. Opa, are you here? You said in a whispering tone, but as usual, there was no answer. Your eyes scanned the rows of lockers, and then you froze. As you saw Jungkook, he was standing in front of his locker, but what made you froze? His stone chest and abs were a small towel was hanging around his neck. A gasp left your mouth, and that was when he raised his head up and saw you. Your eyes widened. But before you could say one more word, Jungkook rushed forward. Don't shout. Your heart pounded like crazy, so loud that you could hear it in your ears. You looked up at him with your wide, panicked eyes. His dark eyes locked onto yours, and he said in a same whispering tone, If someone hears you there, your face burned red, the audacity of this boy. Yay, don't say nonsense. I was just looking for my Opa, you said angrily. He missed slightly, but his lips curved into that same infuriating smirk. Oh, your Opa. Why always Opa this, Opa that? You love your Opa a lot, princess. Of course I love him. He's my brother. And you pointed your finger at him. Don't you call me princess, you said in a teasing voice, but unfortunately it caught the eyes of boys who were walking past the open doorway. Their eyes widened slightly and they began whispering to each other before walking away quickly. Your jaw dropped. Well, now they probably think. You blinked in a disbelief. Hey, what are you saying? He smug whispering. Come on, what else they could think, hmm? You gasped, hitting his chest again, and muttered, You are such a jerk. You shoved him away and stormed out. Your face was burning with embarrassment. Jungkook chuckled behind you, running a hand through his damp hair. As you reached the corridor with your red blushing cheeks, you saw Eunwoo coming out of the principal's office. You rushed to him and said, Hey Opa, where were you? The principal had called me in his cabin. He discussed with me about an upcoming match. Oh, you said with a pout. He looked at your face and said, frowning, Hey, what's wrong with your face? He asked with a concern. You shook your head nervously and forced a cheeky smile. No, Appa, I was just searching for you. He said, Oh, okay. With that, you both headed to your home. In the evening, you were sitting on the couch while scrolling through your phone when all of a sudden someone knocked on the door. Knock, knock. You got up lazily, slipping your shoes on. Ugh, who it is this at this hour? You open the door and your eyes widen, seeing Yunwoo with his usual gentle smile and right beside him Jungkook. Hey, you, what are you doing here? You said, glaring at him angrily. He smirked and said, Why so shocked? Don't tell me you missed me. You scoffed, crossing your arms over your chest. Missed you? Did you hit your head with a wall? Why would I miss you? You said, but the heat on your cheeks was betraying you. Hey, you both, don't start again. He looked at you. Little one, go and get a glass of juice for Jungkook. He's your guest. Miss me? Choose for him? No way. Jungkook chuckled, looking at your face the way it changed the expression while you said those words. Why, won't you listen to your oppa? Oppa! Inwu led Jungkook to the living room with a groan. You poured the juice into the glass and then an idea popped into your mind. Let's see how you like this, Jungkook. You whispered to yourself while smirking. You unscrewed a small bottle of vinegar from the counter and poured a little into the glass. The smile made your nose wrinkle. Enjoy your drink, Mr. Jungkook. You carried the glass back carefully and placed it on the table before him. Here you go, sir, you said while sweetly looking at Jungkook. Jungkook smiled and grabbed the glass. He took a big gulp and then froze, his eyes widened while throat burned as he coughed slightly, trying not to spit it out in front of Yunwoo. Yay! What did you mix in this? You didn't answer, you just groaned and ran upstairs before he could catch you, Jungkook groaned, while Yunwoo laughed. Hey, she's insane. Let it go, man. She's always been like that. While Jungkook smirked slightly, staring at the staircase. The next morning, Seoul High School corridors were bright with golden sunlight streaming through the windows. You were walking beside Horang in the hallway. I can't wait for the weekend. No classes, no homework, just peace. Yeah, I want some peace too. But peace unfortunately had other plans. Just as you both turned near the locker hallway, you froze to see Jungkook. His hands were in his pocket and he was walking towards you in slow strides. His eyes locked onto you immediately and your heart skipped a beat. You quickly tried to deny. No, not him, not in the morning. Oh, he's looking at you. What did you even do this time? She whispered nervously. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Well, except my vinegar thing. Before you could take a step back, Jungkook stopped right in front of you. His shadow fell across your face. Good morning. Don't call me that. I will just go now. Bye. And before you could stop her, Horang practically vanished, leaving you alone with him. You took a deep breath, ready to walk away, but Jungkook hand shot out, gently grabbing your wrist. Yay, what are you doing? He didn't say a word at first, he just smirked. He started taking you down the hallway. Jungkook, hey, stop, where are you taking me? You really think that you can just prank me with vinegar and get away with it, huh? You gulped down. Hey, that was just a joke. By the way, you deserved it. Oh, really? Then I guess I deserve to return the favor. He said with a smirk. Your eyes widened. He kept walking until you reached the quiet end of the hallway where there were no students, no teachers, just sound of distant footsteps echoing. He stopped and turned to you. You gave him a nervous laugh and said, Hee hee, okay, very funny, Jungkook. Nope, not so easily, princess. What you did last night was pretty bad, don't you think? You rolled your eyes. Hey, you drink vinegar, not poison. Still counts as emotional trauma. You glared at him with your cheeks burning hot. He smirked. You gulped down, and before anything could happen, you quickly looked over his shoulder and said loudly, "Hey, Yunmo Oppa!" Jungkook frowned and quickly turned his head to look you smug, and pushing him away, you sprinted down the hallway. He ran a hand through his dark hair, exhaling with a half smile. That girl is really testing my patience. A few hours later, the entire school gathered in the auditorium. The principal walked up to the podium. "Good morning, students. I have an exciting announcement this year. We will be spending our summer vacation on a week long camping trip in Joala Prince." The entire room exploded with cheers. Horang jumped excitedly. "Did you hear that? Camping a whole week away from school." You smiled. "Yeah, that actually sounds nice." But your smile faded slightly when you noticed Jungkook sitting a few rows ahead, turning his head back to give you that familiar smirk. The next morning, students were loading their luggage into a big blue and white buses parked outside the school gates. Everyone wore casual outfits instead of uniforms. You adjusted your bag and hugged Yunwoo, who was heading on the first bus with the senior team. "Take care, Oppa. Don't overwork yourself." "Don't worry, little one. I will be fine. See you at camp." His bus engine roared to life and soon it pulled away from the gate. You waved until it disappeared down the road. You turned towards your bus and stepped forward but suddenly froze. "Aish, my phone! I left it in my locker." You groaned and quickly ran back inside the school. You fetched out your phone from the locker and rushed back. But when you reached the bus line, your eyes widened. All the buses were filled, students were pressed against windows. There was not a single empty seat left. "No way! No, 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 no! Don't tell me!" you murmured, panicking. The teacher near the bus checked her list, signing. "When all seats are taken, you will have to adjust in one of the buses." You groaned but nodded with a polite smile. "Yes, ma'am." You climbed into the bus, which was right in front of you. It wasn't crowded too. Your eyes scanned row after row, nothing. Every single seat was taken. You let out a frustrated sigh, clutching your phone. Suddenly, your eyes fell on the last seat where Jungkook was sitting, leaning against the window. He saw you. He removed one earbud as he was listening to a soft music and then smirked at you slowly. Your heartbeat raised. "Hey, Ryan, you can come here." "But there is no place left." He tilted his head a little, pretending to think. There is one seat left." Your eyes followed his gaze only to realize he was pointing at the seat just beside him. "Are you crazy?" "Ryan, adjust dear. The bus is almost to start." You looked around, there were no empty space, and above all, this bus was crowded with boys, and only one girl was sitting. "Hey, can you guess who it is?" "Well, it's not Horang because she's already sitting with Yeonwoo." You looked at the girl with puppy eyes, but she gave you a glare which made you sigh dramatically. You had no other option than sitting beside Jungkook. You exhaled, your heart was racing so fast it almost hurt. You started walking towards him. Jungkook smiled, a small, satisfied curve of his lips moved. You hesitantly sat, your knees brushed. His hand hovered awkwardly in the air for a moment, unsure where to rest. Finally, he placed it on the window ledge, keeping himself as still as possible. Both of your hearts were jumping inside as if they heard the Gangnam song. Jungkook looked out the window. His jaw was tight and he was trying his best to act casual. The bus started moving. After a while, your eyelids started to droop. The soft vibration of the bus and the steady warmth of Jungkook behind you lulled you into the drowsiness. He stared at your sleepy face. Slowly, he adjusted his arm just enough to make sure you wouldn't fall. For the rest of ride, Jungkook didn't take his eyes off you. After a while, the bus finally stopped near the campsite. Jungkook hesitated but then gently nudged your shoulder. Hey, wake up, he said softly. You stirred while blinking groggily. Huh, are we there? He nodded, helping you stand up. You blushed when you realized you had slept. Ah, thank you, you said, clutching your back, avoiding his gaze as you were feeling so shy. Jungkook gushed too while rubbing the back of his neck. Oh, welcome. Time skipped in the evening. The campsite was glowing with orange firelight, and the smell of roasted marshmallows filled the air. The stars above were scattered like tiny diamonds against the dark velvet sky. You were sitting on the lawn near the campfire holding a marshmallow stick. Your cheeks were flushed from the way Jungkook was glancing at you from across the flames. You shyly bit your lower lips while looking down, which made him giggle. Horang was sitting beside you, but all of the time her eyes remained fixed on Eunwoo. After dinner, the teachers allowed everyone to take a walk, and around the lakeside, groups of students moved around holding lanterns and taking excitedly. You followed behind, but your steps were slow. Your brother had gone off with some of his friends, leaving you alone. The night breeze was cool and it was brushing your hair over your face. You pushed the strands back with smiling softly. But as you stepped on a small rock, your foot twisted and you winced as you collapsed to the ground. Pain shot up your ankle. You tried to stand but failed. Tears pricked in your eyes. Just then you heard quick footsteps. A familiar voice called your name. It was breathless and worried. You looked up to see Jungkook, who was looking at you with concern. Wayne, you said, pouted. He sighed and knelt beside you. Eh, you are so careless. He said, brushing a strand of hair behind your ear, but you didn't reply instead. Tears gathered in your eyes, his expression softened completely. Hey, why are you crying, Wayne? What happened? He whispered. Your breath hitched. You looked into his eyes, deep brown. They were full of something unspoken. Your fingers clutched his sleeve, and the time stopped. When you finally pulled, your cheeks were warm, your eyes were wide. You both shyly looked away. He cleared his throat and said, Ah, let me carry you. You looked up at him and nodded your head, blushing. He smiled and carried you back to the camp. Well, behind the same tree, Horang and Yunwu were sitting.